Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our producer, Jeff Durall. We're in the Kansas Room, located downstairs at the Hayes Public Library, with the Kansas Room Librarian, Lucia Bains. Now into her second year, right, Lucy?
Correct, yes.
And we had some fun when you came on board as the new Kansas Room Librarian, and now talking about some of the programs coming up, and we also want to talk about the Kansas Room itself. So tell us about this particular area of the public library, would you, Lucy?
Well, the Kansas Room is a collection of monographs or books about Kansas and the West. It's largely a reference collection, though I do circulate items now. I also have all of the Hayes Daily News archives, other newspapers from Ellis County. We have 3 different microfilm readers down here. And then we also have our family history and genealogy collections down here, as well as a subscription to Ancestry.com, which is one of the most used resources. Our genealogy resources are very well used down here.
That's one thing that you kind of stressed when you came on board, I think, was the rich history and the genealogy interest that is evident in this area.
Oh, absolutely. It seems just about every old name around here has a genealogy on the shelf. So it's really wonderful to see both beginners and seasoned genealogists come in and do their research.
What got you involved in, well, particularly history, because the Kansas Room is so much about history and our past? What got you interested?
Well, I've always been interested in antiquities, I suppose. Big fan of Indiana Jones. But I actually worked at the Truman Library Archives in Independence, Missouri. So I really have a passion for preserving history because I think the old adage is true, those who don't learn their history are doomed to repeat it. So.
And in looking at the Kansas Room, when you came on board versus now, have you been able to accomplish some of the things you wanted to?
Oh, I think so. I do a lot of programming, which is one of my favorite things to do because I get to be out with the community. That includes going to different assisted living and nursing home facilities in Hayes, sometimes once a week, sometimes once a month. And I love doing those programs and bringing my information out to people. I've also been able to acquire a new microfilm reader, which is digital, which is so exciting because I can actually just email articles to people, say from out of state or out of town, which is something I couldn't do before. What else have I done? I've been busy.
You know, we appreciate that as a community, Lucy, you going out to areas where maybe people don't have access to coming to the library itself, so you can bring the information of the library to them. We think that's pretty important.
Oh, absolutely. I think a library is more than just 4 walls, and my job as a professional is to reach as many people as possible.
How's the Hayes Public Library doing? I know it was one of the tops in usage for years and years. Is that still the case?
Well, I don't know any precise statistics to quote to you, but I think that the library is as well loved as it ever was in this town. And I know people who visit this library are absolutely astounded when they see it. Just the size of it is so remarkable for a community of this size.
Well, and the wealth of materials that are available. Obviously, we think about books, you know, but it's expanded so much beyond that.
I mean, we have something like 8,000 movies here. It's just really, it's amazing what we have in our collection.
And in addition to that, of course, you talk about the new digital reader. Talk more about that, would you?
The digital reader was purchased just almost 2 years ago, not too long after I came on board, and it really just makes microfilm research so much easier because it's smoother. You can enhance the image, and again, you can either save to a flash drive or email information to yourself. So it cuts down on paper waste, it cuts down on printing, it cuts down on time spent looking for information, and that's so important because everybody's time is so valuable.
Talk about connectivity. The Hayes Public Library has a strong connectivity with other libraries and other sources, particularly with the digital and such now. Talk a bit about that.
Well, the Hayes Public Library is fairly well connected throughout the state, I would say. We belong to a consortium, a central Kansas library system, so we're connected to other libraries. The other libraries in our region that are approximately our size are considered to be Great Bend and Salina, so we have fairly good, or I would say excellent relationships with those libraries. And we've also been looking into doing some technology upgrades in our library, and for that we've been visiting other libraries to see how their systems run, and it's really nice to have those relationships and those connections with other libraries.
What do you have in mind in the way of upgrading technology?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it.
This is in the early stages then.
Yeah, it's not the final stages by any means.
Okay. Well, Noelle, who is the public relations director here, I'm sure will let us know in the future whenever that officially comes to public view then. Okay. Talk about some of the programs that you have planned for the Kansas Room and for folks in the community in the area, Lucy.
Well, October's always been a big month for me. It's National Family History Month. But this year, I'm actually going a bit away from that theme because I have a very large event coming up on October 17th. It's a film premiere. It's a project I've been working on with the Kansas Humanities Council for over a year now, and it's finally coming to fruition. We were selected as one of 4 communities in the state to have a short film produced about a turning point in our community that happened within the last 50 years. And the whole library administrative team kind of got together and tossed around some ideas, and the idea we settled on was the formation of the Arts Council in the 1960s, which of course has had an indelible impact on our community and especially here in the downtown. It's hard to go anywhere without seeing something of the arts. Also in our public school system, the Arts Council has been so critical in bringing in different programs for the youngsters. So we really felt like it was an important turning point that the formation of the Arts Council, which was also the first in the entire state of Kansas, was the subject of our video. And so we were selected, as well as 3 other communities. The filming was all done in April over the Spring Art Walk, and then now we're getting ready for the big premiere.
Tell us about the time, the place, the particulars.
Absolutely. The premiere event will be at the Robins Center, which is the alumni and foundation building for FHSU. The event will begin at 6:30 in the evening with a reception. We'll have live music, we'll have refreshments, and then the actual film premiere will be from 7 to 7:30. And even though it's only a half-hour span, we'll be watching all 4 films because each film is only about 6 minutes. But the Hayes film is last in the lineup. And then from 7:30 until 8, we'll be having sort of a community-wide discussion. These films are supposed to promote community discussion about how to improve or continue doing good work in communities. I think our film in particular is a wonderful source of community pride. I can't wait to see the kinds of discussions that come from it. But our discussion will be led by both Mayor Schwaller and Dennis Scheel, who is the current president of the Arts Council.
And 2 very involved people with the arts in the community, of course. So where's the current Hayes Arts Council director in all of this, Brenda Mader? She's not going to have any kind of a role?
Oh, Brenda, she always has a role.
I had to lead you into that because I knew there was something there.
Brenda and I have worked very, very closely on this project. She's been my #1 source of information because she didn't write the book on the Arts Council, but she memorized it. She is one of the interviewees in the film. The other interviewees are Daryl McGinnis, Chris Cooksey. They actually went to Lawrence and interviewed him. Pete Felton makes an appearance in the film. Dennis Scheel is in the film. And then the other interviewee that we scheduled was John C. Thorns. The film is dedicated to him and his life and works. So these are some of his last words about the arts in Hayes recorded, and I'm very, very proud of that.
These are legends in the art world, and
Oh,
not only
absolutely.
in Hayes, but in Kansas and throughout the nation, really.
Yes, yes, from young to old. But yes, Brenda was pivotal to making the film. I couldn't have done it without her. She gave me all the information that I needed. She was always available for me. And then the Arts Council is actually having their annual meeting just prior to our reception and event beginning. So it's kind of their to-do for the evening, if you will.
So the question that came to mind rather immediately when you said these are 6-minute films, how were you able to encapsulate the vastness of arts in the area, the community, and the Hayes Arts Council into a 6-minute presentation?
That's really that's why this project has taken so long, because before we even started the filming, we had to write the story, and it seems kind of putting the cart before the horse to write the story before you shoot the film. So of course, after we shot everything, the story kind of had to be redone into what the actual footage showed. But I think having the filmmakers here over the art walk was wonderful, because you saw such a depth and breadth of the arts in our community. You really saw the people out in force supporting the arts. You see not only visual art, which is of course what everyone immediately thinks of, but you see musicians, you see a little bit of dancing, you see just people out enjoying each other and enjoying Hayes and the downtown, which is, again, what these films are all about.
Yeah. I'll bet the makers of the film, the producers of the film, were pretty amazed at the art walk and what took place.
Yes, I've heard that our film was actually their favorite to shoot because the art walk is such a fun evening. But they got hours and hours of footage, and I am pretty staggered at how they were able to put it all into 6 minutes. I do not envy them that job.
Boy, I wish they would do an expanded version at some point. That would be terrific to be able to see more of what they encapsulated on film.
Sure, and actually we will have rights to all of the footage. We will receive all of it, so we'll see what comes of that in the future.
Good. All right, one more time, Lucy, the time, place, the event, would you?
The event is the premiere of the Turning Point short film, The Art of Change. The event will begin at 6:30 in the evening at the Robbins Center on FHSU's campus. Parking will be available at the Coliseum right across the street. The event will run from 6:30 to 8, and there will be free refreshments, free adult beverages for those who are over 21. The event is being partially sponsored by Gella's Diner and LB Brewing. So they'll have their goodies there. It's absolutely free to attend, and I think it's going to be a really wonderful, memorable evening. So I want everyone in the community to come out and support it.
Starts at what time again?
6:30.
6:30, and then following the film, kind of a group discussion
Yes.
of the importance of the arts then.
Yes, and again, this is a project done with the Kansas Humanities Council through a generous gift of Susie Miner in remembrance of her husband, Craig Miner.
Lucia Bains, the Kansas Room Librarian from the Hayes Public Library, our community connection. Thanks for watching.